are young, we seek adventure. We want to move, to go, to explore the world. Adventure is one of those fantastic things that keeps us young and tickles our imaginations. Adventure can be far away, but it can be as close as a ride around town. Let's meet some of the people who help make it happen today on Hometown. Sometimes we look at travel as a chore. It can be a ride to work or a bus ride to school, and sometimes even the long plane ride to an exotic location. It's just the thing we have to do before we get to do the thing we want to do. But as author William Feather wrote, one way to get the most out of life is to look upon it as an adventure. Maybe travel itself is part of the adventure. The hustle and bustle of the airport, the people we meet at the bus stop, the guy in the car next to you who smiles when he catches you singing alone at the top of your lungs. Today we meet some of the people who make adventure happen, the people who open the portals to somewhere else and allow us to enjoy the ride as well as the destination. Let's see what keeps the wheels on the bus going round and round and the wings on the plane getting off the ground. Essential ingredients in our remarkable story.
Angie Peters, welcome to Hometown.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
It's great to learn more about Valley Transit. And when I think of Valley Transit and the bus, I think of the song, "The wheels on the bus go round and round." And that's what you guys do here, right?
All day, every day.
Well, thank you. So tell us a little bit about these super buses that we see driving around our valley. What's the history of Valley Transit?
Yeah, we started rolling service in 1981. We were established before that and had to get buses, staff up, all of that. But we've been running since January 5th of 1981. And the service has grown over time. So now we have 9 fixed routes and we run dial-a-ride services. We have job access that bookends that in the early morning and the late evening. And we have evening and Saturday service, which is running a more flexible type of service for people.
And your job here at Valley Transit is?
I'm the general manager here. I have been since the summer of 2019.
And about how many employees?
So we've got about 60 employees, 33 of which are drivers.
And buses, what's the fleet number?
Yeah, so for our dial-a-ride fleet, we have 10 vehicles. They're compressed natural gas or CNG. And then for fixed route, we currently have quite a few because we're transitioning between propulsion systems. We're moving from diesel to electric. So we have 18 right now. You remember I said we only run 9 routes. And so the majority of them are diesel at this time. We have 4 electrics in service. We will be adding 5 more this year. And then we still have 2 CNGs in service on fixed route, but they are being retired this year.
When you say fixed route, what does that mean?
So that's what you typically think of when you think public transit, the bus that has a set route pattern that it follows. And for our community, that means at your particular bus stop, once every 30 minutes, that bus is going to be coming by. That's the fixed nature of it. And what's different about our evening and weekend service, we do what's called deviated fixed route. And so you have that route pattern that it follows, but then a customer can either to the driver or by calling in and talking to our dispatcher request to deviate about a half mile off of that area to go and be dropped off a little closer to home because we run less service in the evening and on the weekend. So that helps people still be able to get where they need to go.
Oh, fantastic. So the volume of people, the numbers, how many people per year ride our bus system in Walla Walla?
Yeah, so that has flexed a little bit due to COVID, obviously. Pre-COVID, we were doing about 650 to 750,000.
That's a lot, Angie.
Especially for this community, it really
Yeah.
is. This last year, we finished out at about 500,000, which is really decent recovery from COVID. And given the trend that we've been seeing both here and nationally with transit ridership, that's about where we think we would have been even without a pandemic happening.
Just with life-changing, people working from home, things like that.
Yeah, and like total vehicle ownership. It's many people here own vehicles, right? With the community we are in, it just works for them. Although an interesting fact would be that for our people who ride frequently, about 75% of our riders identify as having no access to a vehicle.
75%.
Yeah.
So Valley Transit's an important part of transportation
Yes.
in our town. Well, thank you for the history of that, and you're going to take us a little bit behind the scenes so we can see about what happens in the bus barn.
Absolutely.
Angie, this is really cool inside. It's warm in here, and what is this?
This is the bus barn. So this is where they all come to sleep at night after they do their service. And this is specifically the fixed route bus barn. So it'll hold 12 buses. And we're in the process of securing a grant to build a second bus barn.
That's awesome. So they come in here to sleep, and on the other side is maintenance, and there's a lift up there for changing the tires and the oil and all of that.
All of that fun
and
stuff.
all of the parts and your great service personnel who work here.
Yeah.
So tires.
Mm-hmm.
Talk with us about the tires on the bus for safety.
Yeah, so our front tires we replace about every 50 to 60,000 miles. And then the rear tires are replaced about twice as often as that because there's a heavier load in the back of the bus. That's where the engine to the bus is. And then for the 50 to 60,000, we're talking about essentially replacing once a year and then replacing twice a year for the back tires.
And about how many miles do these buses go in the year?
So the full fleet is about 390,000 for the entire year, and that's for all of our different service modes.
All right, well, I'm excited because now we're going to go ride a bus.
Great.
Angie, we've talked about people with disabilities and how the bus can accommodate them. So can you show us how that works with the ramp?
Yeah, absolutely. The bus will kneel and then the ramp will come out so that we can board. This
Okay.
is great if you are in a mobility device, or if you're not, just maybe lifting your foot that high might be a challenge.
Sure.
Is a great way to use the ramp.
Okay.
And if Eric could put it out for
Yes,
us.
Eric, our super bus driver here today. Thank you, Eric. And thank you, Mr. Bus Driver. Angie, you mentioned about having secure places for someone who might be in a wheelchair or a mobile device.
Yes. So we have 2 securement locations, and they will seat the average person. And then you can fold up, and these are then used to secure the device so
Got
that
it.
it's safe while driving. And our new buses that will roll out this year have what's called the Quantum, and it just folds in with a button push to hold the chair so a person can secure themselves, and it gives them a little bit more independence, which is pretty awesome.
And if someone needs a hand from the bus driver, their bus driver can do that. Is that
Yes,
correct?
and
Okay.
with this securement system, it is all done by the driver. The passenger just wheels in.
Wheels
And
in.
we
Okay.
do the rest.
All right, great. All right, so the wheels on the bus go round and round. Eric, are we ready, Angie?
Let's do it.
All right. For someone who, say they, they live at home, they live by themselves, and this is a way. There's a bus stop at Walmart. I see a lot of people who are riding the bus at Walmart. And what would you say to someone who might think, oh, I don't know about riding the bus. That's kind of new to me. What would you suggest to them?
Well, particularly while we're in this zero fare pilot, I would recommend they just go out and give it a try just to see if they're comfortable on the bus. I find that it's very inviting when you're on there, but if you've never ridden and maybe you've only heard stories about the big cities or something, you might find it intimidating, and you can get on and see that it's really not. Get to know our drivers who are super helpful, particularly if you're not sure how to navigate. So something about transit that's a little different than our average life is the concept of reverse trip planning, where you're like, okay, I need to be at the community college by 2:15. Let me backwards plan my route to make that happen. That's something that we can help you learn. We do travel trainings for people who like them. We also have a video that teaches you like the concept of reverse trip planning that's just on our website. And then drivers are really good at talking through that as well.
Yeah, and talked about, so just like what you said about the reverse plannings, what do you say to the person who thinks, oh, the bus is going to be late, I have to be home at this time, or I have to be to my appointment? Do the buses run on time?
They do. So our on-time performance average for 2024 was 93%. So I can't say that they're 100% on time, but also construction happens. That's a big part of it. So they're very reliable. You also can call us. So if for some reason a bus has run very late, or this should never happen, but departed early, you can call and we can actually send a road supervisor out to pick you up if it's going to be another 30 minutes before you see a bus.
Okay, so that kind of eases some anxiety of getting there. Well, just in the time that we here at Hometown have been with you folks at Valley Transit, I can very much see that you folks are a community, and with your employees, with your bus drivers, your service technicians, and all of that. Do you want to speak to that?
Yeah. So we have 60 employees and we're all with each other basically 40 hours a week, sometimes more for crazy weeks. I think you do see like a tight-knit community within the drivers because they are with each other out in the field. And then maintenance and admin are here at the base together, but the whole group works together as a unit. It's just you'll see stronger relationships build in different areas. And then once a year, we actually do get together and do an all-staff event where we're doing training and also just that time for people to get to be with their coworkers rather than 100% of the time I'm focused on what's happening on the road in front of me.
Angie, we're on the bus downtown Walla Walla here on Main Street, and are kids riding the bus a lot?
Yeah, actually about 25% of our ridership are people 18 and under. And then we're taking children during the year, often to and from school. And then during the summer, we're taking them to the park or the pool. We see a lot of kids get on board and they are in their groups and having fun and just seem to really enjoy being on the bus.
Well, I remember being a kid and riding the bus and being able to go with our friends, and it was a big deal.
It's very independent.
It's very independent, and at the time it was 10 cents, and here now it's free in Walla Walla. So yeah, I think that's great, especially to be able to have some independence as a kid. And so what pools does it stop at? Does it stop
so we don't go directly to the Memorial Pool, but the route is very close to it. Then you just have a very short walk to get there.
Right.
And then speaking to your independence statement, it's also a little bit of independence for the parents too, because if the kid can just like grab a bus ride home after basketball practice, that's one less trip the parent has to make. So I feel like it goes both ways.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Eric. Angie, thank you for including Hometown on Ticket to Ride here and for the ride and all that you do here in our community.
Thank you. It's been great to have you guys here.
I am here today with airport manager of the airport, Jennifer Skoglund. And I am so happy to have you here today.
Good to be here. Thank you, Elaine.
For almost 3 years, I traveled once a month out of that airport.
And
Thank
I
you.
am excited about the new things that have happened there. Tell us about your
Good.
remodel.
Good. Well, so this last year we finished the remodel on the main floor. And so if you haven't flown yet, definitely come and check it out. We have extended into what had been the public lobby and have expanded the TSA checkpoint. So you have more room to divest of your belongings and bags, and then some additional TSA equipment. And then also enlarged what we call internally the fishbowl, kind of that secure gate area. So a much more comfortable, enlarged space for the traveling public.
It's really exciting.
Yes, it is.
And you added another flight?
Well, so we got the second flight back
Yes.
in September of 2023 because the Port of Walla Walla entered into what's called a minimum revenue guarantee with Alaska Airlines.
Oh, okay. How's that
And
work?
so that was because right after COVID and with the challenges of pilots, aircraft availability, Alaska Airlines reduced our schedule, Yakima Airport schedule, and Wenatchee Airport schedule to a 1 round trip per day. And so a lot of challenges. And so to help the airlines bring back the second flight, these 3 communities entered into that MRG agreement. So it was an agreement that we would pay them up to, but no more than $500,000 per year. And it was a 1-year agreement to institute the second flight back into Walla Walla. So it was the early morning out and the late PM back in at midnight.
It really helps with connections.
It does, because when we were at that 1 flight schedule, it was only that midday turn.
Yeah.
And that was a real challenge.
Yeah.
So thankfully, yes, that's what we got. We had many community partners who also gave money towards this effort.
Fantastic.
And I want to say the final number, we did not use the final $500,000. It came to about $305,000.
Fantastic.
And we got the 2 flights for a full year. They have kept the second flight in now, which is fantastic, with no MRG agreement.
That's fantastic.
So that is good news for our
So
community.
That means that we all pulled together
We
to
did.
recover from a really tough time.
We did.
We did, Alaska did, you guys did,
Yeah.
and it benefits all of us.
Yep, our community really pulled together. I always, and I thank the community so much for supporting it. And I always say, but we always can do better.
Yeah.
We always need to grow our load factors even more so to continue to be successful. And which also gets us to the point where we could entertain even additional flights in the market. So, we're at a good spot right now, but we can always do better in terms of more passengers.
So we want to encourage people to fly out of Walla Walla if they can.
Absolutely. If we can fly local and keep our monies local, it benefits everybody.
It really does.
And I know sometimes it doesn't work. We have a partner, a competing airport, not too far away that has lots of choices. So we get it. But, if you are traveling, if you can always, just look up ALW, which is the airport code for Walla Walla first, and see, what type of flight schedules you might get to where your destination is and the price, and fly Walla Walla when you can, because it does benefit the community and hopefully future growth.
Yeah, and I have to say that I have been impressed with the pilots that fly in and out of here. They are amazing, and they are, sometimes regional airports get kind of a, loosey-goosey attitude. Not here. You have a good place.
We have a good place. Obviously, in the aviation world, safety is number one.
Yep.
Not only for my team who manages the airport and maintains the infrastructure, but the pilots. And so safety is always number one in all of our minds. We also have a control tower, which helps with that.
Absolutely.
Not all airports of our size have control towers. And so they're able to, talk to all the aircraft and keep the proper separation. And so that's a huge benefit for our community.
That's
but yes, we
amazing.
have good pilots. And fingers crossed, knocking on wood,
Yeah, I don't want to jinx
no
it.
incidences.
Yes, exactly. So tell me a little bit about you. How did you get involved in aviation, and how did you become an airport manager?
Happenstance.
Yeah.
Happenstance. So went to WSU
Uh-huh.
up in Pullman, go Cougs,
Yeah.
and
Yay.
got my degree in business administration with an emphasis in management. Graduated. I came back to Walla Walla.
So you're from here.
I am born and raised in Walla Walla, so
Same.
I love Walla Walla. I
Me
have a
too.
vested interest in making this a great community.
Yeah.
So came back to Walla Walla after graduation. I worked at Walla Walla High School for a year.
Wow.
Yeah, and I loved it. So I worked in the office there. And so that was during the time when I was applying for other jobs and where do I want to go? And worked at the high school, loved it. So I actually started applying to Walla Walla University for the education program.
Yeah.
Because if I was not an airport manager, I decided I would love to teach business classes in the high school.
Yep.
So that was after high school, or excuse me, after college, what I wanted to do. That didn't go as planned. Some things, life happened. And so then I got a job with the Port of Walla Walla. Larry Adams was the airport manager at that time. Wonderful man. More stories in and of itself with Larry that we don't have time for today, but he was a wonderful mentor to me.
Yeah.
I knew nothing about aviation, but I could learn. I had a passion for it. I picked it up. I had a wonderful mentor in Larry. And so over the years, I was given the opportunity to grow with the Port of Walla Walla in different positions, continuing my learning, and then became airport manager here about 13 years ago.
Amazing.
And I just celebrated last August of 2024, my 25th anniversary with the Port of Walla Walla.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Thank you for what you do,
Yeah,
Jennifer.
thank you.
And thanks for stopping by and seeing us today.
Yeah, thanks for having
And
me.
I think we're going to have you again so we can hear more stories.
Good.
All
I
right.
love it.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks.
Hey everyone, so today I wanted to talk with you about a part of my life that many of you may not know about. Over the past 8 years, I have had the opportunity of working as a traveling documentary filmmaker. I have visited over 25 countries, and I can say that I have spent thousands of hours on airplanes. When I heard what today's episode was going to be about, I thought, yeah, I can definitely talk about air travel. The world is a big, big place, but no matter how many times I fly around the world, it will never cease to amaze me how we can casually step into a flying tube and in 24 hours or less, we can be on the other side of the planet. Now, when most people think about air travel, I can only assume that they're thinking about big airlines, but my wife and I have had the privilege of documenting some of the most incredible work being done around the world through the use of airplanes. As an example, we spent a week in the high mountains of Papua, Indonesia with tribal people who would have basically zero access to the outside world if it wasn't for airplanes. A large majority of people living in these high mountains have never seen cars or even motorcycles, yet the airplanes landing on these short, treacherous airstrips are a normal occurrence for them. These planes have brought food, medical relief, and education to these remote areas. So I can be confident in saying that air travel has been an absolute game changer for the people in these mountains. Another organization we worked with in the Philippines uses planes and choppers to provide a whole number of services to people living in remote areas. Thousands of people's lives have been saved over the years because of the medical transport work that has been done through these people. So yeah, my point is that air travel is an incredibly important thing for people around the world outside of our vacations to Hawaii. Okay, so the last thing I wanted to leave with you today, because of my experience and my wife's experience, I wanted to leave you with 4 practical tips for air travel. So, number 1, carry an empty water bottle. If you are someone who loves to stay well hydrated, it can be a hard task on a plane. Constantly asking for water or getting up to try to find it yourself is just not practical. Right, so you can't go through a security line with water, but once you get through security, you can find water stations to fill up any water bottle that you have. So if you're someone who wants to save the money and you don't want to spend the $6 on a water bottle in an airport, this is a great option. Number 2, unload your pockets into your carry-on. I can't tell you how many times we've had to witness some poor person frantically ripping everything out of their pockets while everyone in the security line waits. When we reach a security line, everything in our pockets goes into our carry-ons right away. Now, depending on the security check, most of the time they want your phone out in the open because of the battery in the phone. But everything else in your pockets, yeah, those can come out and those can go into your carry-on, and it's gonna help you with all the extra stress when you get to the security belt, and you're not gonna be that person that everyone else is waiting for. I know this seems like such a simple thing, but I'm telling you, this will literally change your travel experience. Number 3, don't be afraid to lay down. We basically live out of airports for literally days at a time, and we have reached the point where we really don't care what people think. We've slept on top of benches, under benches, behind planters. When we reach a country, we always hit the ground running hard. And if we don't get some type of sleep while we are traveling, it's gonna make our lives a whole lot harder later on. Okay, this is the last one, number 4. This is a big one. Spell your name correctly. Thankfully, we've only had this happen one time, but when ordering your tickets, if you get one letter in your name wrong on the ticket, they might not even let you on the plane. I guess it's a matter of national security if I add an extra A to my name. Trust me, you do not want to go through that. All right, that's the end of this segment of Discovery. Thanks so much for watching, and until next time, blessings, and I will see you on the next episode of Hometown. Bye-bye.
It is a wonderful thing to enjoy life, to enjoy its adventures and discoveries. And I'm reminded of Ecclesiastes 8:15, which says, I commend the enjoyment of life because there's nothing better for a person under the sun than to eat and drink and be glad. It's easy to think of travel as the hard part and the ride as the annoyance. But it's always a good reminder that next time you're irritated in line or frustrated with the wait, stop, slow down, and enjoy a moment to dream about, in the words of Dr. Seuss, all the places you'll go. Oh, hey, I better run and catch my flight. I wonder if they'll have biscotti on this flight. See you next week on another episode of Hometown.